Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we're going to be learning about Georgia O'Keeffe, and we're going to be doing a line drawing of Georgia O'Keeffe's Red Poppies. This is a photograph of Georgia O'Keeffe in a gallery standing in front of one of her paintings. She did many paintings of skulls and bones of the Southwest deserts, but she also did many very large floral paintings. And this is the series of her most famous ones, the Red Poppy. Now, of course, poppies are a pretty good sized flower, and they're very noticeable in nature, especially when you see them wild in a field. They just light up the whole field with their bright red color. But I want to show you some flowers that some of my students gave me today. They are so small, and this is kind of like Georgia O'Keeffe's philosophy, that she wanted the world to stop and notice even the really tiny things in life. So look at this, and some of the children at my school, actually when they were playing in the playground today, noticed these little tiny flowers, and they noticed the beauty of them. And they brought them to me. Let me see if I can put them on a piece of paper here, and I'll show you up close what they look like. But you can see how small they are. They're smaller. They're probably about 1/4 of an inch in size. But inside the flower is all the different beautiful parts of a flower inside. They're so small you can barely see them. They're just little tips of a flower. Look how small that is. So Georgia, in her paintings, kind of made a statement by saying, hey, let's look at all the little things and don't let life pass us by. Nature's beautiful. Life is beautiful. One of her quotes right here, her quote says, I have painted what each flower is meant to me, and I have painted big enough so that others would see what I see. That's Georgia O'Keeffe. If you take a flower in your hand and really look at it, it is your world for a moment. Georgia O'Keeffe. So she really enjoyed painting flowers. She painted other things as well, some things in her north or southwest deserts. But today we're going to focus on the poppy. And we're going to do this on a 12 by 18 sheet of paper. And we're going to start off in the center of our page. Find our very middle, and we're going to do a U shape right in the very middle. Okay? It's going to be, look at this, if I take 2 fingers and put it down, it's a little bit wider than 2 fingers. Now don't worry if your U isn't perfect, or whatever you're making today isn't quite perfect. That's okay. Just so long as it's similar to mine. Something similar. If you always make a mistake, just redraw that line, and then you can hide the mistake later with some oil pastel or paint, or put a bug on top and hide it. Now from that U shape, we're going to go ahead and put in the very middle a curve like an upside down U or an N shape. And then I'm going to go up and down on each end, up and down. And then I'm just going to connect this. What we've just formed is the pistil, which is the center part of the flower, and the top section is the stigma, and that's where the pollen germinates. So I'm going to go ahead up and back. Now we're going to continue down, and we're going to just connect the 2 lines to the center. Now we're going to be working on adding some stamens that are surrounding the center pistil. We're going to come up with a curve like a C, and then a curve on the back, on the other side, the backward C curve. And this section that we're forming is the stamen. And the stamen is made up of 2 parts. there is the filament here, and then on the top of the filament is an anther, and we're going to be making that right now. It's a straight line with another line underneath it. It's kind of like a curved rectangle, very small. The filament is the long, skinny line. That long, skinny line right there. We're going to be adding more stamens around the whole center. We're going to do a curve like a U and then add the anther on top, which is the skinny rectangular shape, very tiny. Here is a backward C with a rectangle on the top of that. So that's how we form the stamens. We add the filament first, and then we add the rectangular anther on top. And we can put more of these stamens in, the stamen part of the flower. We can put more of these in after we get some of these petals in first. These gorgeous, deep ruby red petals have some dark black areas in the middle of the petal. So let's put that in first. So I came out, and then I'm going to come up slightly toward the edge of my page. Now I'm going to put another petal in down below. The second petal, I'm going to come from here, out from here, and I'm going to curve a bit. And now I'm going to ruffle it, just kind of a wiggly line to the bottom of my page, kind of the ruffle of the edge of the poppy. This is a fold in the petal. Now I'm going to do it curve, and then I'm going to do a straight line. Notice I have room at the bottom here. And now I'm going to put some kind of ruffly, bring it in and down, some curvy ruffle lines for the edge of the petals. So the edge of the petals aren't smooth. Now, if you don't have your curves like mine, that's okay. This can be any wiggly ruffle line, just so long as it's not a straight line. Then put a few straight lines in down here to show that this is the wrinkles in the petal of the flower. That's just one flower that we put in. One petal. That's the petal of the flower. Let's look at the word petal. There we have petal. The next petal area that we're going to put in is the dark area. This area in the center, like I said, was pretty black. So let's draw that guideline in here. So it's going to be a wavy line come down and back, kind of like an L shape here, but curved. And this is just a wavy line to meet this petal. This tells me this area is going to be black, and this area is the gorgeous red on the petal of the flower. Now I want to come down here. I'm going to make a fold. I'm going to bring it over and come off my page right here. And I'm going to do a kind of a wavy line right here to show the petals ending in the corner. And then I'm going to bring a straight line back, but not all the way, to show this is the like a wrinkle in the petal. So this is a petal, and this is a petal. We're doing huge petals around our center. Now we're going to come back over in here. So this is the black area in here. We can kind of make a line connecting. That'll be black. And then we'll add another petal back here. We've got to give a guideline for some black on this side. Let me get rid of these words here. So we're going to make another petal, but we're going to add the black section to the petal here. So I'm going to come, and it curves down and it curves off of here, and then it's just wavy right here. So any way you want to make a wavy line with gentle curves. So this is the black area. Now from here, I'm going to come out. See how I came out and diagonal down? And then I'm going to turn up. Out, diagonal down, and then up. If your line is a little bit off, don't worry about it, because every petal is so different. When you're done, your flower's going to look beautiful. Curve around now, and we're going to do the gorgeous edge of our flower. So it's going to be a little bit of a wave as we go down diagonally. I'm going to have a dip, so I come down and over and back to this petal. So now I have another petal here. It's going to look kind of funny until it's all done. But we're just doing little pieces at a time. Little pieces at a time. So I came down, out, and then wiggle, wiggle to the edge. On this side, up here, we have another big black patch. This kind of looks like a leaf shape. Come out from this area, curve it up and over, kind of a rainbow arch. And then from this area, we're going to come do a little curve, and then it's going to come up, and it kind of has a rough edge on the end here, kind of feathers in. When artists call it feathering in, it kind of blends in. But this is another black section. And around this black section, we're going to do another curved line around. Make sure you can see it. And now we're going to add another petal with some really pretty shapes. So this is part of the petal. It has some wiggly lines up and back. Let's do a diagonal, down. Then it has a dip, curve down and out. It's got another dip, down and out. And then it kind of connects to this petal. So this is a petal, and then you have some black part on the petal. Each petal near the center has black, more black in it. She also has, there's another petal coming off of this. If you have room here, just come out and go to the edge of your page. This is another petal here. So from here, I just went out to the edge of the page. Now we're going to come to this side of our page, and we have another petal with some more black coming up. So I'm going to come up, diagonal. I'm going to dip. So up diagonal, curve it and up again. And then I have a diagonal line coming this way. And I have a little U shape here that dips down. And then this kind of comes back to the stamens. There's a petal here that connects it all together. So in here we come up with a wavy line. And I'm doing a wavy line over, because then we're going to connect down in. We connect down in, but we don't see a lot of this. There's a bright spot here. So if we are in the very middle of our page, I'm going to come to the very top of your page and come down with a slight curve. This is a bright yellow spot, or a very light orange spot coming through. Let's do that again. That's where our light orange comes through our petal. Let me show you here. You see right in here where we have a light yellow orange color coming through here. Now we're going to have some come down from here and just do some wavy, wiggly lines. Down and up, down and up. Now I'm going to do a diagonal down and a diagonal down with some waves. So we've mapped out a lot of our flowers and petals. Now what we're going to do is add some more of these stamens. Here's the stamens in the center. So we're going to add more stamens in the center. So we're going to draw the anthers, lots of little anthers, and the filaments underneath them. So we're going to put filaments in, just little curves coming out, curves, and then we're going to put the anthers on top, which are little rectangles. Okay? So if you put a curved line in, put a little anther on top. You put the filament, which is the little lines, and then the anther on top. Filaments are little lines, and the anthers on top. So coming out from the center, these radiate out from the center. And of course the poppy has lots of them, but we're just going to put in a few to represent the anthers and filaments coming out from the center. And hers just had like, she would actually just do, when I'm looking at this, I just see little bits of gray that she painted for the anthers. So even if you just do the anthers, sometimes you don't even see the filament. They're just little gray curves coming around. Let me show you how her picture looks. It's just little gray lines in the very, very middle. Okay? And that is how we draw The Great Poppy by Georgia O'Keeffe. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and add some oil pastel to this and then paint it in. This is my first grade art class that's live today, and we did, the video was live actually, and they're here with me now. And you are how old? 7. Most of you are 7. Is there anybody 6? One kid? One person 6. Okay. Most are 6, a few 7, and no, most of them are 7 and a few are 6. But they did a beautiful job with them, and we're going to color them in, add some oil pastel, and paint. And they will be lovely.